Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Exoria. So since last episode, I have done a couple things, namely a lot in this building. And I'll show you, I'll take you in there in just a second, but I did go ahead and right over here, I have set up a little industrial hemp farm. This is due to the fact that we're going to be using a lot of industrial hemp soon. I might as well go ahead and harvest this. This is the only farm that I have set up in this dimension at the moment. But the main reason, of course, we have the farm over in the Exoria dimension. But it's very bad. It has been bad since the get-go. I mean, I can still get industrial hemp there, but it doesn't all grow. And I think it's because the ceiling is 3 blocks high, but it still has issues growing. So there's only like 8 or 9 pieces that consistently grow. Now I can grow all of them with like bone meal or watering can or something like that. So it's not too bad, but I need a farm that actually grew on its own. So I did go ahead and set up a farm over here. Now in addition, I did craft up, I actually crafted 3 of these chunk loaders from persistent bits. I was thinking they would load a lot smaller of an area than they did. They're really, really cheap. Enchantment table is really, really cheap in this pack. I guess technically it's a little bit more expensive than normal, but it's still really cheap at this point. I have one setting right there and one setting right there. And if I hit right click on this, we can see what all is loaded. And you can see that it loads, and these are actually the center of the chunk that they're in. Like if I hit F9, you can see that's actually the center of the chunk. But just with those 2, we have pretty much loaded, well, let me move a little bit closer to the center here. And by the way, these blocks that get placed down, these are solid, red-stained glass panes. And one thing, I'm actually kind of curious. Let me try something here. If I was to take this, and I was to break that... Oh, it won't allow me to break it. Okay, I was about to say, can you just get, like, free red glass panes? But we're actually loading this whole area here, and that. I just don't have any more claim chunks. I need to go into the config for FTB utilities and up the number of possible claim chunks. 100 is low, and I just like having this claimed so that I can see, like, and know, okay, this whole area is chunk loaded. That's probably my favorite thing about FTB utilities. I don't like the chunk loader. It corrupts. It has a tendency to corrupt. But, yeah, you can just right-click those, and it'll show you all your loaded chunks from that chunk loader. And then if I come over here, I can turn this one on as well. And there we go. And you can see that's all loaded as well. It's definitely more than what I need, but these load a 7x7, which is pretty massive. I think it should have been like maybe a 3x3, even a 1x1. I wouldn't mind it too much because they're pretty cheap. But 7x7, okay, we'll go with it. That's fine. I don't have any qualms with it. So we have this nice big area here loaded. All of this. So, okay, so over here, I have been working on this a lot. I've got most everything moved over from our Exoria base over to here. So we have, you know, metals, we have all this like gems and knickknacks. Over here we have saplings for trees. I have some Misty World trees in here, but most of these are just base vanilla trees, fruit trees, bamboo, dead saplings. Over here we have wood types and wood products. So bamboo and sticks. We have blocks over here. We have blocks that I'm going to probably have a lot of right here. Ash right there. Just single ash. I do have ash blocks stored away too, but and then over here we have seeds. We have produce. Most of the produce. And that includes the roots produce as well. Then over here we have like some mob items and fish and stuff like that. We have plants and plant-based stuff. I got my vine balls. I've got pineapples over here. Technically, those could be counted as produce. I put them in here. And you can just plant these down and they'll grow more. And they don't have to be like on hoed ground or anything like that. So we are going to plant out some pineapples, but I don't have any real need for them since we've got lasagna, which is like the end-all be-all of food for a while. And then over here we have just like assorted junk. By the way, look how many bricks I have. I have 14 stacks of bricks. And the reason being, using the clockwork pickaxe, since it has the superheating, if you mine the virgin clay, and I found a huge deposit underneath that industrial hemp farm, there was a huge deposit of virgin clay, and breaking that with this pickaxe gives you bricks, like 3 to 4 per block. So I went ahead and just harvested up a bunch, got 14 stacks of bricks. And then we have redstone chipsets. We have almost 3 stacks of redstone chipsets. I also made up a bit more treated wood. We've got a bit more chests made up. I've got 53 of those at the moment. Over here we have kind of like magical items, just over here. And then actually, if we head upstairs, you can see there's a lot less teleports than there used to be. This is all of them at the moment. And I've actually got 2 waystones on me at present. Oh, and I upgraded my armor. Oh, that needs to be repaired in a bad way. I'll have to pop over and repair that in just a second. Over here, I have done a lot of sorting. So I've moved our bed over here. I have moved our architect's saw bench, our engineer's workbench, framing table, and I made a few more of these work tables since they're so cheap. The only recipe that I even have in here right now is lasagna locked in. But of course, each of these can hold 9 recipes, so that way some of the stuff that we're going to be getting into today, I would like to have these recipes saved just to make it a lot easier, just quickly making that stuff later on. So we will be getting that stuff set up. Over here, okay, we have current projects. There's not a whole lot in this at the moment, but that's stuff that we're currently working with. We have automation items. This is stuff that's going to get automated in the near future, so it's not really slotted into a drawer downstairs. And I have a lot more aluminum over in Exoria base. So, and then we have leftover architecture blocks. We have chisel leftover blocks. We have, this is just like miscellaneous blocks. You know, ortho bricks and lead sheet metal and stuff like that. Tools and equipment, which this has to get downsized. It's a lot of root stuff right in here. And I was actually trying to use up these hoes, but I didn't manage to use up any of them when I was making that first farm. And then right here we have just random, just absolute junk. I mean, it's just junk. A lot of this stuff's not even useful. Like iron casing, stone casing, combustion collector, iron combustion heater, and stone combustion iron condenser. None of that stuff has really any use. And really, the small item output, tiny fluid input have no real use at all either. Honestly, the only thing for modular machinery, unless, well, actually, I know that in this pack all the recipes are shown. You may not be able to see all the recipes, like what actually crafts things and stuff like that, but all the items are shown in JEI, and the only machine blueprints here are Life Infuser and Bee Attractor. We will never use the Bee Attractor again, ever. I don't foresee it anyways. The Life Infuser, we're still going to use it. I'm actually going to move it over into this dimension. We'll be using that until we get all the animals situated, but I'll probably leave, after we're done with the Life Infuser, I'll probably leave that multi-block up. But the bee one, I have no... You honestly get just a couple bees in your set. And then right here we just have kind of important miscellaneous stuff. This is like pipes and coils and things like that that I have setting in here. And then over here we have magical stuff. This is a lot of roots and Botania type stuff. We have Misty World Dirts. And the reason I don't have these slotted into a drawer is because the humus content ranges on these. So, like for example, let me sort this. We have forest grass. There's 6% humus. If we come over here, here is, right here, forest grass with 4% humus. And then we probably got, there's a 2% forest grass with, 2% humus. And then we have, other grass types. So they don't really necessarily stack, and they won't go into the drawer together. So I just have a chest for these dirts. I also have a chest here for Misty World wood right now. This will probably end up getting drawers eventually, but we've got all the branches and we have the blocks, so I just haven't slotted that stuff yet. And then up here I just kind of have Misty World leaves. These are leaves. I actually harvested those on accident with Silk Touch pick. And hey there. Got any iron or redstone for me by chance? No, you don't. Okay. And then over here we have projects. This is our project page. So right here we have builds that are upcoming. We have Bee Temple Storage Center, Bee Processing Area, which is done. Then we have a small workshop and our first bridge. And there was something else I was thinking of earlier, and I meant to add it to this and I forgot it, that we would be starting kind of soon. But anyways, that'll be fine for right now. And then over here we have projects. Move over the bees, automate the bee produce, full item sorting, and start the tree breeding stuff. A lot of that stuff's going to be kind of things that we cover on camera. I mean, I'm not going to move all the bees over on camera. But, we'll be doing that automation process and moving bees over as we get stuff automated. So I put that on the projects list here. Then right here, this is miscellaneous jobs. A lot of this stuff is just off-camera type little projects. Lush work, yeah, around the storage area, so adding like greenery and bits and bobs of metals and things like that. I need to add manual farms. That's things like that industrial hemp farm. Just little farms like that. Eventually we will automate those, but I would like some little manual farms. And they're not all going to be... Honestly, that industrial hemp farm, I'm probably going to end up, once I don't need just a ton of industrial hemp, I'll probably break it up so it's not exactly a 9 by 9, but instead it'll be like, kind of more of a marshy looking farm, I think. Kind of break that up a little bit. And then we also have animal areas. I need to start getting our animals moved over to this area. So that is the stuff I've put on there for right now. Stuff that we'll be working on. Now, one thing I want to show you that's really cool and really useful. Actually, two things over here that I want to show you. First up, we have cobalt nardite being produced automatically here. I had a little bit more that was produced in the process of breeding up the bees, but I just trashed it. I usually just trash everything that the bee is producing, even if I actually need the stuff, because once I get it automated, it doesn't really matter. But these bees are producing cobalt and ardite in this dimension. I'm almost thinking that these are one of the bees where you just need the correct temperature and humidity. Or maybe it just has to do with being on the Exoria planet itself. I don't know. But they are producing cobalt nardite. One of the few specialty produce items, actually, that we've encountered in this pack that hasn't really taken any kind of work to try to get, because like the sparks and stuff like that, those took a little bit of testing and figuring out exactly what we needed. But those, they just started, as I was breeding up the stats on them, they just started producing stuff like the cobalt nardite. And one thing I want to show you that's really, really awesome, if you're making lasagna, okay? This pick, of course, has superheating, and actually I think it might work with the axe. Let me try. No, it doesn't. Okay. It does not. The axe, you can actually use this to kill cows, and it will still cook the meat that comes out of them, I think because it catches them on fire. But if you harvest these tomato seeds with something with superheating on it, you actually get tomato sauce. You do have to replant the tomatoes, but it saves you that whole smelting process. So, honestly, I think it's worth it because it really doesn't take that long. It's a little bit quicker if I actually let all the tomatoes fully grow. I've been harvesting these, so I don't think any of the crops in this base are actually all fully grown right now, because I've been harvesting quite a bit. Because I wasn't really harvesting a whole lot while we were working on building up that base. And I mean, you can see that corn I haven't even fully spread corn yet. It's almost fully spread. It will be now, but I wasn't keeping up on my harvesting a whole lot when we were working on those bases, because I was pretty much focused on that stuff. The only thing I was harvesting really was tomatoes and meat, stuff like that. Wheat. I try to stay on top of wheat because I use so much wheat. But if you're harvesting something that you just want to auto smelt, just break it with a pick and then just replant it, and you'll get your tomato sauce or your hot sauce, or whatever. Okay, so anyways, the first thing that I want to do today, there is actually right here. Oh, and by the way, this episode there will be a world download with this episode, so it'll be down in the description for the video. But we're about to start getting into all of this stuff. By the way, I did do some testing with the powered crucible, induction heater, and the power consumption is just ridiculous. There's no point in that, so we're not going to use it. I'm going to craft one just to finish out the quest, but I know there was some mention about they were considering removing this because it just takes so much power. But originally I was thinking about getting this thing up and going today, but it's just not worth it, because powering this thing, okay, I had 4 in my test world. I had 4 windmills set up they were fully upgraded with the sails, right? And they were setting it like I don't know, 150-ish. And 4 of those, all feeding all of their power down into an induction heater, and it was only able to heat the melter to like 1,100 degrees Celsius. So, I mean, at that, I couldn't even melt iron with 4 windmills running, much less ardite, cobalt, stuff like that. So it's really not a very effective method for melting down alloys. It really isn't. It's pretty bad, in truth. So we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and it is going to take a little bit of working up to get to that. It's actually really, really cheap, but It'll probably be next episode before we get into actually melting down the metals, because we're going to be focusing on some other stuff. But before we get started on that, one thing I do want to do is I want to go ahead and make the Nature's Compass. I want to basically unlock a couple quests that we're going to be working on. I think it'll mainly be next episode, but I'd like to go ahead and get it unlocked. And I think it requires a Misty World sapling specifically, and then 4 pieces of wood of any kind, and then just a compass. So let's get that real quick. I might have the saplings. I might actually have to go out and get some saplings. But I will say the bee stuff, the bee automation and things like that we're about to be hitting, it's going to take, it's going to take a few episodes. It's not even going to be done probably by next episode, I'll go ahead and tell you. Because we have a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing with it. And we're going to be automating a lot of things as we go as well. So, okay, and I'm going ahead and I'm fixing this stuff because my boots and my helmet were both kind of low. So I went ahead and fixed those, but I do kind of wish the Misty World saplings weren't such a pain to get. Like, they're a bit much, I feel like. It would be a little bit more fun. Oh, can I not use... It says accepts any logwood. Let's try this. Oh, okay. So it doesn't work with the Misty World wood. That's interesting. Alright, so anyways, there is our Nature's Compass. And quest complete. There we go. Orientating. Okay. And then faster digging, they want us to make a haste upgrade. Okay, I've already got one of those. So we'll just go ahead and snag that out. There we go. Faster digging. And then there's a quest here for get 64 gravel, 4 tiny piles of ender dust, and then get an ender pearl. Okay, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. I'm not sure how much gravel I actually have on hand. 95 pieces. Okay, so quest updated. There we go. And then we'll just, let's see. There is our 4 pieces of ender dust. And then we just have to go grab an ender pearl. It's not a problem. Just figure we'd knock these quests out because they're all pretty quick. And quest complete, more saving. Okay. And I don't think any of these have rewards. They do not. Alright, so the quest that I was wanting to go ahead and get unlocked, it's this one, miniaturization and hard metal. Because I knew those quests were coming up from my test world. And I wanted to go ahead and get those unlocked. Miniaturization we'll probably do next episode. Now the Niobium, I'm going to go ahead, actually, just because I found it. I was actually kind of looking for some just so I knew kind of where some was at. Oh, it was the other day, actually. It's right over here. I didn't mark it because I was like, I'll remember where it's at. And yeah, right. No. Actually, there's some niobium right there, in fact. But that's not the one I was looking for. Yeah, so there's some niobium dust. We'll go ahead and snag that. And we got our niobium ingot. Oops. By the way, this porous stone, actually, it doesn't mine. It doesn't take too long to mine yet. Let me see. This niobium ore, and then they want us to get a niobium pickaxe. Okay, let's actually grab some of the ore, because I want to see if we can double it. There we go. Nightwalk. Goal. And quest updated. And then this stuff, can we double it by chance? Not with pyrotheum. Arc furnace we could. Crusher we could. You can, it looks like, but we're not going to be able to yet. We're just going to have to just directly smelt it at the moment. Yeah. Okay. So I might as well just place it back down and mine it with this. There we go. And to make the niobium pickaxe, because this is going to allow us to mine through stone a bit faster, any kind of stick. Okay. We'll just use branches for this then. There we go. Like a knife through butter. Advancement. And that quest is completed. And then we have the I Need to Breathe quest. And we're going to get into that. That's the respirator and getting the filter coal. The nice thing about going ahead and getting that pick is I should be able to mine filter coal now. Let me see if I can find some. Usually you'll find it along these little edges here. You can also actually find it, digging underground, but here's some right here. That's what I want. So now we can break this stuff. It does still take a minute to break it. More expensive than gold advancement, and we got ourselves some filter coal. And you'll notice it says level of pollution is 0%. That's going to come in to play whenever we start actually using the respirator. And it still takes a long time to mine the foggy stone. It definitely does. It's faster than that pick, but it's not faster than my haste pick, so... I'm just going to put this away. But we're not going to get into going under the fog today. I know you guys are probably looking forward to it. We will. We will very, very soon. But for right now, I don't want to pop down there. I don't think. We might. We might towards the end of the episode. We'll see how much time we have and everything. Okay, here was the niobium I was looking for. Right in here, I dug out this little area, and right down here, I mean, there's a bunch of porous stone. Oh, free. Tiny pile of ender dust. But if we hop down here, right there, we do take damage, but it's minimal, honestly. There's a couple pieces of that niobium. And I've got 4 pieces of filter coal. I'm going to go ahead and start kind of, whenever I come across that stuff, I'm going to mine it and start stockpiling up on niobium and filter coal. I mean, technically we could make the respirator right now and head down in underneath the fog, and we will, just not right this second. And the Nature's Compass, if you're curious how that works, we can just right-click it and open it, and we can go through and select a biome that's nearby and go find it. So if I want to find a Dream Overworld, yeah, let's see if we can find a Dream Overworld. So what we're going to do is we're just going to double-click it, and it says status not found in this area. So, and you can see the radius that it checked, the samples that it checked. Let's try down. I know there's like down border, for example. If we click that, you can see that it found one, and it's right off in this direction. You can see the coordinates, the distance we are from it. If I come up here, and we can actually follow the compass as well, it's probably going to be right, yeah, right there. So you could say we're only like 19 blocks from it. It's a little bit dangerous, but I don't want to fall down in there. But that's how that works. So if you want to find a specific biome, you can use that. But I don't find too much use in it, especially with flight. It's not too hard to just explore and find the biomes that you're looking for. But a little bit more useful, I think, in like the overworld. I mean, the biomes are pretty well balanced within this dimension, so you're going to find, you know, all the biomes that you're looking for pretty easily. Oh, by the way, I was meaning to show this to you guys. We actually have sound effects now. Like the piston sound. It's really, really well done. I'm very, very impressed by it. But anyways, I've got some more Dawnstone plates running because I only had 18 left. And I think the first thing that we need to do is, because I want to start making centrifuges. And these require, of course, the Dawnstone plates, the circuit boards. We've got the redstone chipsets. The copper plates aren't a problem. Vacuum tubes, of course, require the copper wires. Now, we can craft these manually, but I'd like to actually start using the metal press for this. Of course, it's not going to be in an actual workshop area just yet, but that's fine. But what we're going to do to start producing power, we need to get this quest out of the way. We're going to use this for powering a furnace a little bit later. Maybe even this episode, we'll see. But I want to get into the windmills. But let's go ahead and do the Thermo-pile. We're going to need electric connector, a battery block. Of course, we've already made copper coils. And then we're going to need to make the Thermo-pile itself. So let's go ahead and do that for starters. So this is steel, bronze plates, and a machine block from Magneticraft. Oof. Okay. Okay, I'm going to get these plates made up real quick. Soon we won't have to make plates manually anymore, which is going to be nice. It's going to be very, very nice. We're about to be moving into a lot of automation, especially now that we have our new base and everything. We will be taking one episode here soon to do like a workshop and, you know, maybe a couple other little buildings like that. But we are, over the course of the next, you know, while, we are going to be doing a lot of automation. Like a whole lot of it. I actually think I have some iron rods lying around. I do believe. And I tell you what, one thing I want to do is up there in those work tables, like this is one of the situations where I want to start using the work tables a bit. Just to make our lives a little bit easier. Let's go ahead, let's clear out that recipe. Let's do a magnet recipe. So it's fluix crystal, it's iron, it's redstone. That's how you make a magnet, and let's go ahead and place these items into there. And we're going to craft one. There we go. And then we're just going to right click to lock that in. And then we can quickly craft more magnets. And then I would like to let's see, the motor requires copper nuggets, iron rods, and all this stuff. And like I said, I think I've got, yeah, I've got some iron rods right here. And then we're going to need some copper nuggets, which, of course, we are using ore berries for that. So we'll grab a stack of those. That's, let's see, it is copper, iron rod, iron plates, lead plates. Then we need the copper coils, which I've got a few of them in here. I wish those things stacked. We'll just put that, is it? Okay, it's on the back side. Magnet goes there, copper coil goes there. So we'll craft one of those, and then we will lock that into place. And I kind of wish these things had a bigger inventory, but that's okay. And then the machine block is steel plates, iron plates, lead plates. Okay, so motor goes there, steel plates. I'm just going to put 2 of them into there. And then we've got the iron plates, lead plates, and there we go. We'll go ahead and lock that in. Now the Thermo-pile itself, I'm probably not going to lock that in because, you know, it's mainly just this stuff because it's a lot of like tier crafting. That's why I want that locked in. Okay, so steel and bronze plates to get our Thermo-pile. Honestly, I'm probably going to want a couple of these. I'm going to go ahead and make 2, I think, for right now. Because like I said, we're going to use it for automating the furnace. And we'll probably get that into this episode, but don't quote me on it. Because we have a lot of stuff, especially getting into power and stuff like that. And we're going to be expanding on this stuff, you know, over the course of the next few episodes. So we'll be like knee-deep in stuff for a few episodes here. Alright, so there's our 2 Thermo-piles. There we go. Quest updated, thermal energy. And then we are going to need to make a battery block and an electric connector. So electric connector is just basalt, copper, and stone slabs. Couldn't be easier. So there's our 8 electric connectors. And then the battery block. And this is basically for storing up the voltage battery block. We're going to need 3 small batteries, an iron grate machine block, and 5 iron plates. These are just iron bars for 4 of those around just stone. Small battery is lead plates, sulfur, iron, and copper. Okay, I got sulfur now, which I'm pretty sure there's not a spot for sulfur. I think I was just out of it. Yeah. So we'll just put this right into there, and I need 4 more pieces. I've actually crafted one of the batteries. And our steak, I'm just going to go ahead and turn that into ground beef. I was killing cows. So, there we go. Okay, so sulfur, we'll throw that in there, and then we'll get batteries. Am I missing? Let's see. These don't stack, do they? There we go. There's 3 of those. And then we should be all set to make our battery box. 3 of these. Iron plates, and the machine block. And there is our battery box. Okay, quest complete. Thermal energy. And we're going to get the Magneticraft guidebook. There we go. Which I'm actually just going to... I'll hold on to this just in case. It has been a little bit since I've done Magneticraft. But I don't think a whole lot has changed since then. I'm just going to throw these into there. Because I don't need those anymore. Okay, so now that that's stuff, we're going to set up the Thermo-pile in a minute. We've unlocked a few more quests here. Automated crushing, atomizing, and useful gadgets. But I want to move into Power Mark II. This right here. Kinetic Dynamo and Windmill. Then we also need to make LV wire connectors, LV wire coils, and LV capacitor. Sounds good. And actually the LV wires, we are going to have to clip these copper wires by hand. That's fine. Well, let's start with the windmill. It is windmill blades. These are just treated wood planks and then some sticks. So let me grab... actually, we won't need those. Let's see. We're going to need 8 crafts for our first windmill. Because we need 8 windmill blades. And I'm not going to have enough to make a second windmill. Whew. I really hate crafting treated wood in this pack. I hate it so much. But I'm going to need more windmills. I'm going to want 2, I think. Well, minimum. Yeah, I'm going to need more than 2, though. I'm going to need a bunch of these things. And I want a bunch for decor purposes as well. Now, before we go ahead and craft the Kinetic Dynamo, I'd like to go ahead And I want to make 8 of these windmill sails, which take a ton of tough fabric. So let's go ahead. We'll get that. There's 4 windmill sails. And let me go ahead and grab like another stack of that. And that's why I needed all the industrial hemp. Was for this stuff. One more craft. There we go. There's 8 windmill sails. And I've still got 13 industrial hemp. Or 13 stacks of industrial hemp. So I think we're pretty good on that stuff. So 8 of those are windmill. And then we're going to want our kinetic dynamo. And for this, we're going to need a machine block. Of course we are. And then we're going to need a couple copper coil blocks. So I'm going to need to make a bunch of LV wire coil, which is, of course, a bunch of copper. And I've got some clippers up here. Oh, those aren't the right clippers, and I'm out of shears. So I'm just going to make a new pair of shears. There we go. And I need to make up a bunch of copper plates. Make a whole bunch of them. So let me get these pounded out. Luckily, I think this will be about the last stuff that we have to actually pound out. Then I can get a metal press up and going, and we can start kind of using that to make all of our wires and our plates and just all that stuff. Let me go ahead and make, let's see what 16 gets us on this. And then there's 16 LV wire coil, which is going to complete that part of the quest. And then we are also going to need... Actually, that'll be enough to get our kinetic dynamo done. Okay. And then I think we're going to need just like one more craft of LV wire or something. And we only use half the plate. So I made a little bit too many, but that's fine. Steel. Okay, let me get another machine block crafted. So 5 iron plates, 5 lead plates. Okay, so magnets. We've already got one. Motor. I'm going to need one of these. I'm going to need... then our machine blocks. So much easier with this work table set up for that stuff. So much easier. Honestly, I probably should have set something up for like the windmills, but I think we'll be alright. Okay, and there is our kinetic dynamo, our first one. And I'm going to need more of those, but one will be fine for right now. Okay, quest updated, and now we need to get our LV wire connector and our LV capacitor. So LV wire connector, I guess I don't necessarily need a relay right now, and I'm actually not even going to be using LV wire for this. I'm going to be using MV, I think. Okay, this is just an electric connector. Well, I guess actually our first one we can use LV will be fine. Because it's not... I'm going to be using MV for the actual B area and the processing area, but we're probably not even going to get into that today. Because we got to get the metal press up and going to make it cheaper to get into that stuff. So... Okay, because we did kind of skip past this to go ahead and get into the Misty world, so now we're having to go back and kind of sort ourselves back out a little bit here. And then the LV capacitor, another battery. Okay, treated wood, lead plates. Actually, it's not that bad because I think I have the sulfur on hand for the batteries, and that's the only expensive part. Yeah, I've got the sulfur, and the battery required lead plates as well. Okay, so 8 lead plates. And there's a pretty good chance this might be the last time that you have to craft plates like this way, which is good because this hammer, I think this hammer will survive just a little bit longer, but it is starting to get low, which I think that's actually like the 3rd or 4th or something hammer that I've had over there. I've went through quite a few of them, in fact. Okay, so let's get our battery, and then we're going to get our LV capacitor. Quest complete, power Mark II. And we get an engineer's manual as our quest reward. Awesome. It looks like all those quests kind of end out. Yeah, I think this is like pretty much, unless there's like a quest over here, this is like pretty much all the quests in this tab, at least for right now. Okay, so now that we've got this, we need to go find a good place to set up this windmill, and I actually think this first one, that's going to have the metal press, and this is a very temporary spot for the metal press. But I think we're going to set up the first windmill right over here. Okay, and that's for decorative purposes. So let me get some stuff together. Let me actually build out, it's not a super structure that we're going to be using for the windmills, because I'm going to be using a lot of these windmills. So give me just a second. Let me get some stuff together and figure out exactly what blocks I'm going to use and stuff like that. And I'll be back and we'll get this thing set up. Okay, actually we're going to go ahead and build out and set up the metal press before I build the structure that the windmill's actually going to be sitting on, because the block I want to use requires stuff that we're going to need from the metal press. So let's go ahead and let's grab some ice first. There's a stack of ice. Let me put that away, put that in there. I'll throw that in there too. And I did upgrade this backpack. I added, what, I think it was three, I think it was 3 additional lines of slots, but anyways, let's pop over to the storage room. And let's take our ice, and I want to put this down around our pure daisies. And I actually don't need, I'll just do 8. That'll be fine. Just put the rest of this away for right now. Because I want to go ahead and set up our thermo-piles before we set up the windmill, just so that they can start actually running and building up vaults, because we have everything that we need to get those set up, so we might as well. Okay, there we go. So what I want is packed ice. Let's go ahead and snag that. Just put that away. And let's pop back over to here. And let's pop right up here, and this is where we're going to set up our thermo-piles. Is right inside this little bee processing area. Because we're going to be using this for smelting. We're basically just going to use the thermo-piles for the furnaces, for the furnace setup. So what we'll do is we'll set up our thermo-pile, like our first one's going to set right there, and we're going to put just magma block on one side and packed ice on the other side. And you know what? I can't remember if you do it on multiple sides with these, if it generates more. I want to say that it does, but we'll find out. Actually, I wonder if I put the battery block right there. This actually might work. Put the battery block there and then put the other thermo-pile. Yeah, because see, it's building up on volts right now. But I don't know if it's going to transfer out the bottom, so we're about to find out. We'll put a thermo-pile right there. Packed ice. And let's see. Now it's going up. It seems like it's going up faster now. If I was to pull this off. Yes, it is. Okay, perfect. And then if I was to put a, say, a packed ice. Now this is what I'm not 100% sure about. If I put a packed ice right there and a packed ice, or actually let me pull that off. Let me do a magma block on the back. There and there. And I did packed ice setting there and there. Yeah, I feel like that's even faster now. So that might be good. That might actually be pretty good. We need to get it up to about a 60 volt, I want to say it is, before it'll actually start really running the furnace a whole lot. But I wanted to go ahead and let this start building up, basically. And that actually might be pretty good. Might be pretty effective. So, okay, so now, while that's building up, we're going to go ahead and step away from the Magneticraft stuff for a minute and continue on with our windmills. So let's pop over here where we're planning on setting up the metal press. And the metal, like I said, this is going to be a very temporary spot for the metal press. But what I'm thinking is, this is all within chunk load. So we're going to bring this up right here, let's say. And let's bring it up a decent ways. I kind of want these to be a decent altitude. Okay, so we're right now, let's go to Y165. Okay, so we'll be setting up right here. It's going to be a little bit higher than any of the other structures in the area. And then we're going to set our kinetic dynamo. Let's have this setting like right here. Should be good. And then on this side, we're going to put down our windmill. And we got the windmill for the land advancement. And it should start spinning up here in just a second. There we go. And now we're going to take our windmill sails and we're just going to apply all 8 of these and speed it up. So it's going to start producing more RF production. Or it's going to start producing more RF. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our LV capacitor. We'll set that down right there. And I will say between this episode and next, I'm going to have to make up a bunch more windmills. A bunch. Like I said, I plan on using a bit of these. We're going to set this blue side, or this side here to blue. And we'll just pull this up. And we're going to replace it right behind our kinetic dynamo. So this is starting to build up on IF, immersive flux, I guess. I think is what it actually stands for. But so that's going to start building up on power. And then we're going to set right here, we're going to say that this side is going to be orange, which is output. And we'll attach our LV wire connector right there. And then I'm probably going to have to run this through a relay. I'm pretty sure. Let me, see, we got these copper plates here. Let me cut down, get ourselves some LV wire coil. And I guess I'm going to need to make a relay for this. So let's do an LV wire relay. Oh wow, it takes 2 LV wire connectors. Interesting. To make 4 relays. Okay. It's actually not too bad of a recipe. And I guess what we're going to do is, can I run, let me go up here and let me grab this connection. Okay, so if I snag this and we go down, yeah, that's way too far. LV, I think, is only like 16 blocks of transfer that it can handle. So I guess, okay, it can transfer down to this spot. You can see it's orange. If I go below that, it goes red. So let's go ahead and we'll just put a, that was actually kind of lucky too, because I was just like jumping and hoping I hit a good spot. So we'll put an LV wire relay setting right there, and we'll just bring the connection down, and we got the birds on a wire advancement. And then from there, we'll bring it down again, and that's too far, of course. Okay, we can bring it to about right here. So let's do that. Of course. I need like a steadfast enchant so I don't get knocked around all the time. I got a redstone and an iron ingot from that. And you can insulate these. I'm not going to, because we're going to be changing like all this over soon. And I'm not actually for sure what it even takes to make the insulated LV wire. Tough fabric. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, we'll bring that connection down, and then we're going to bring this connection down one more time, and that's going to be to the metal press. So now we're ready to set up the metal press. So let's pop back over here. And if you recall, we actually crafted everything that we needed for the metal press a bit back to get the advancement, basically. And now we're ready to set this thing up. So the metal press, we are going to need 3 steel scaffolding, 2 conveyors, redstone engineering block, a piston, and I think that's it, right? We have a quest right here. We'll just look at the quest. I believe that's right. Oh, it's a heavy engineering block, not the 3rd scaffold block. Okay. Okay, so let's pop over here. I wish those windmills were just a bit bigger. But I think whenever we have a bunch of these laid out, I think it's going to look pretty cool. And I'm going to use, they're not all going to be like in a straight line. They're not all going to be at the same, necessarily even the same Y level maybe. I don't know. I'm going to play around with that, but we'll see. So we're going to put our, it's raining on me. We'll put our heavy engineering block right there. Our steel scaffolding down right there and right there. Our piston's going to set right there. Our conveyor belts are going to go here and here. And we got the road to nowhere advancement. And then redstone engineering block at the top. Let's rotate. Does the piston not... You cannot form this multi-block. Further progression is required. How do you figure? Because I've got... I've got it. Right here, I've got it. You know what? Redstone engineering block goes at the bottom. The heavy engineering block goes at the top. That could be the problem, actually. It very well could be. That goes there, and then... Okay, and then right-click the piston. Okay. That was, like, all my fault, so... Okay, and it's about to be night. I'm going to go sleep and get rid of this rain real quick. Just because this rain is... oh, man. Come on. What is nearby that is after me? That is a monster. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now we can sleep. Okay, so what we're going to do, we need to get ourselves some metal presses. Then we have to plug up the power. We'll get that in just a second. The metal presses are... Okay, just steel plates. They're all the same recipe, it looks like. Just requiring steel plates. Alright, and then the wire cutter. It has to be the engineer's wire cutters, which is fine. I can craft that up, no problem. I was thinking that we had one of those somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it. So, I'm just going to make a new one. Okay, I'm going to make 5 steel plates, and guess what? We never have to make another plate ever again. Promise. Like that method. I don't think. I don't think we do. Okay, and let me pull this engineer blueprint out. Let me grab this one right here for making the mold presses. And we'll just put that right into there. And we'll put our 5 steel plates in our engineer's wire cutters. And we get to pick our mold. We're going to take the plate mold. There we go. And then let me get, I think I've got some gold chests here. I'll tell you what, that'll be fine. And I'm going to go ahead and actually just grab a wooden hopper, since I've got one of those lying around. And let me grab one more chest. And then I guess we're all ready to do this. I do believe. Okay, so right over here, we're just going to put down our gold chest setting right there. We're going to put our wooden hopper setting right here. This is a little bit different than I normally set it up. I think it should still work, though. Chest setting right there. And then let's go ahead and plug power up to this. So LV wire connector on the top. And then we're just going to connect that over like so. So this has power. And then if we take our steel plate press, pop it right on there. And we are going to need a bunch more plates. What all are these used for? I know we're going to need gears and rods. Wires. I'm going to go ahead and make bullet casings. The 2x2 packing is not used for anything. 3x3 packing is not used for anything. Unpacking is not used for anything. So we only need to craft these 4. So let's go ahead and do 20 steel plates. And we'll get those running. There we go. And they're going to come through one at a time. And they're going to get deposited into our chest. And the nice thing is, with it set up like this, we don't have to worry about our magnet pulling anything off or nothing. You know, this will work great. Now, I will say some of the windmills that I set up are actually going to have some kind of intricate designs, like little buildings. But these windmills, I'm going to have like a windmill border almost along this border, because we have this nice misty area. So I imagine right through here, there's a lot of wind, you know, that theoretically would be flowing through here. So I think like a nice border of windmills kind of facing off into the south there would be good, and kind of generating a lot of energy from that. So, but we will have some a little bit farther inland, because I mean we have this massive island to work with. We're going to have some a little bit more inland that have more intricate builds involved. So, okay, so there is our 20 steel plates that we need to make our last 4 molds. So let's pop over here and let's get these things crafted out. So I want a gear press, I want a rod press, a bullet casing press, and a wire press. And that means we're pretty much done with this, unless we craft like some duplicates or something like that later on. So I'm just going to dump that and that into there. And let me go ahead and grab our components. We're going to be automating the crafting components soon, though. There's a quest involved with it, and we need it for all the stuff that we're going to be making with it. All those circuit boards I'm going to have to be making soon. Alright, and then we'll just dump our presses into there. So we have all 5 of the presses that we need. Now, that's not to say the unpacking recipes may not show up later. But we'll see. You know, if that comes up, then we can just make more. But for right now, we just need those 5 presses. Okay, so now that that stuff's in place, over here, I want to get this stuff set up so that it starts actually producing, or, you know, we'll have a furnace available. Okay, so for the electric furnace, that we do have a quest right here for it. And basically, it's a furnace that runs off of Magneticraft watts. But we're going to need a furnace, which, look, we can make it like this now. So good. So good. And then we're also going to need to get ourselves 7 brick blocks, which it just so happens that we have lots of bricks. So there's 7 of those. And then we will get our electric furnace. And quest complete. Dun, dun. Alright, so we are clearing up this tab. This is like the only thing I think that I see in this tab that we are just... Actually, we're going to make it, but we're not even going to use the thing. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the energy, because I'll show you why. Probably next episode we're going to handle metals, because I do want to get those automated pretty quick, which we're going to get into miniaturization for that. But okay, so we got the electric furnace. I don't know why I'm going over here, except I will actually need some more LV wire coils. So let's actually just shift right click, or right click, shift right click. Oh, it's because of this. shift right click to pull that off. And then we'll grab our wire press. We'll put that on there. And I know we're going to need a lot of these, so I'm going to go ahead and just throw in like 30 copper ingots for right now. That'll be fine. And it's going to start pressing these into wires. Now, the plus side is we get 2 copper wires per ingot. So we're not having to use shears and make plates and then cut them down and get 1 wire per craft. Now we're getting 2 wires per ingot, and it's just automatic from ingots, which is quite nice. So let's get a few of those. There we go. And let's pop over to our processing building. And we'll get the electric furnace up and going. Do I have anything that I can smelt to show you? I do not. Okay, let me pop over here. See, I've got 8 stacks of smooth stone. Let me grab like, I'll grab 1 stack of cobble and I'll just smelt it up so you can see. Yeah, that'll be fine. Just so we can see this thing running. Because it actually, whenever it maxes out on watts, it gets pretty fast. Now, I don't know for sure if it's going to max out on watts just with 2 of them set up. But I think it's producing like double power, so maybe. Yeah, let's get, yeah, wow. It's up to 90 volts, and it's at a plus 10 watts, 209,000 joules built up. Okay. Let's go ahead and set up the electric furnace setting right. Oh, let's see. How do I want to do this? We'll have the electric furnace setting right there. And we're going to take our electric connectors. We're going to put 1 down on the battery block here. We're going to put 1 on the back of the electric furnace here. It doesn't have to go on the back, but that's just where I'm going to put it. Die. Okay. And you can see right here we have a bar for volts. We have a bar for watts. And we have a burning percentage. And then items go in here. They come out here. Okay, so if I drop this cobble, or like, before I drop the cobble in there, I can put that in there, but it's not going to do anything just yet. What we're going to need to do is, let's change this over and get ourselves a copper coil. And we're just going to connect that, or shift right click on the electric connector, either one works. And then just right click right there. And that's going to connect it up. And you can see that this is building up on watts. And yeah, we're setting it a full 20 watts. That's perfect. Look how many volts we've got. And basically it's going to smelt this cobble down into smooth stone. Now, if you don't have a lot of volts in here, it's not going, you know, the watts aren't going to cap out. But having that battery block there is kind of nice because it's going to build up jolts. You can see every time it smelts, it kind of drops a little bit. So technically we're running in the negative on power right now, but it's not going to be running consistently. Or it shouldn't be. Because the main thing we're going to be smelting is like steel ingots, tungsten, and then, I don't know, probably a couple other things. But, I mean, if I need to add more thermo-piles, I can. But I think just the 2 setup with, you know, 2 sets of ice, 2 sets of magma blocks. Because eventually we can actually upgrade those to blazing pyrotheum. But I am going to have to keep a solid block here because it's right above the electric connector. So, I think water would wash it away. Or, you know, whatever, blazing pyrotheum or cryotheum would wash it away. But I'm not for sure. I'll have to test that because we might actually be able to just put liquid on top of that and it's set just fine. But anyways, I mean, you can see it's smelting up the stone at a decent rate. I'm not going to actually keep this thing running because I don't really need smooth stone at the moment. But basically, it's just a free furnace. So if I need to smelt things, I can come over here. I don't have to worry about coal. I know I'll probably smelt more of the cooked dough right here because I do go through that stuff pretty quick. I will probably smelt some more of that, likely between episodes. I'm trying to get a bit of lasagna built up. I mean, I've got like over a stack altogether right now, but I'm trying to get that stuff built up just a bit. How many copper wires do we have at the moment? 52. Okay, that is awesome. That means I can make vacuum tubes aplenty. It does require glass, which I've got. I've actually got a lot of glass built up. I still need to put the rest of the roof up there, but I've got over 7 stacks of glass. So, because I knew we were going to need it. I need it for the roof, but I also need it for vacuum tubes. So, glass, redstone, copper wire, and there we go. We got 79 vacuum tubes. And then the circuit boards are vacuum tubes, chipsets, and copper plates, which we have some of. There's 11 circuit boards. Awesome. And then we're getting into the exciting stuff now. Dawnstone plates around our circuit boards, and we get sturdy casings. So there's 4 of those. Awesome. And I've got some more Dawnstone plates and stuff. I'll just put all this stuff away for right now. But now it's a whole lot easier to get the plates, to get the wires, to get the rods, stuff like that. I mean, I can actually start building with iron bars without it just driving me insane to have to craft all that stuff. And I'll be back here in just a minute. I'm going to craft up a bunch of treated wood, which I'm really looking forward to. I made up 4 tree taps, and I'm going to grab a bunch of resin, make some urushi, and... Oh, is there a better way, by the way, to make... Do I still have to use the crushing table, or the rock grinder would work? You know, technically we could go ahead and get the rock grinder. I think I want to, because I don't want to manually crush things anymore. I really don't. And since we have a power system up and going, yeah, let's get that real quick. Let me pop up to the workshop, because we were about out of sulfur. I've got a little bit here. I've got enough for 2 batteries. So the rock crusher is just steel, a crushing table, and advanced power components, which are steel, coal dust, and a small battery. I am going to need, what is that, 4 lead plates? I really wish my embers, my jar didn't, like, I have to take it off for so much stuff. I may move to the other canisters, though, like the ones that actually just go in your inventory, instead of having the one in the offhand all the time, because I am running into a lot of issues like that, so... and I tell you what, I'm actually going to put down, just because it's a little bit of an annoyance having to run all the way over here, I'm going to put a waystone, and we're going to say temp metal press. Alright, so small battery, there we go. These work tables are just so handy. And our pulverized coal, I actually have 2 pieces of that lying around, surprisingly enough. And our advanced power components, and there is a quest for this somewhere, right here. Okay, it's just make the rock crusher, that's fine. So that, and then we're going to need a crushing table. Let me just pop over to the B storage. And there we go. There is our rock crusher. And quest complete. Automated crushing. Okay. And then I'm going to need another LV wire connector. And let's pop over to the... Does this thing need a... Okay, it doesn't have any requirements. Good. I was hoping not. So we're going to set our, how do I want to, oh, actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a wooden hopper setting here facing into this chest. On top of that, we're going to put our rock crusher setting right there. And then let's go ahead and send this power as well. So that, and then we'll just run this up and connect that up. There we go. And so this is going to start getting power. And then we'll put a hopper feeding into that and a chest on top of that, so I can input a lot more things at once. There we go. And then we're also going to have to... So let's go ahead and throw the resin into this chest. And it's going to get sent over here, and it's going to start crushing that up. And there we go. Our urushi is coming into this chest. And then I can do the same thing for like glowstone and magma rack and honey drops, I guess technically, but we're going to be, probably next episode, we're going to get our centrifuges up and going so we can start getting honey drops a whole lot easier. So, but yeah, technically I can do it through this as well. Oh, that's so nice. It's so nice. Okay, it's been a little while since I cut. I've been crafting up treated wood. I'm actually working on a little bit more urushi. I'm kind of doing like 8 buckets, and I'll craft a stack, and then 8 buckets, I'll craft a stack. But I'm doing 4 at a time, so it goes pretty quick. I did get 2 more windmills crafted out. That was the first stack of treated wood that I made. The only other stack that I've made. And then I crafted up 16 more windmill sails as well. And if we pop over to the storage center, we are pretty much out of industrial hemp. I have 1 stack left. So we went from like, I don't know what, 13, 14 stacks, whatever, to 1 stack. Which is kind of sad because I actually spent a long time. It was a lot of effort that went into harvesting all that between episodes. So I do have, 2 more windmills worth that I can now set up. And I'm just going to set these up off camera. Maybe between this episode and next, I'll see how much I get done. Because I do have to build structures out for these. And if we pop over here, I've actually got our first windmill structure kind of built. I could have just teleported, but this is kind of the style that I went with. So it's got like some supports down here at the bottom. And I'm actually kind of happy with it. I was actually just kind of playing around with it. Just kind of building it. I knew I wanted steel scaffold covered ladders. And that's why, that's a lot of the reason I wanted to wait until we got the metal press. Because I really didn't want to have to craft all this otherwise. Because you have to do metal ladders. I've been using iron rods, and then you have to do steel scaffolding, which of course is steel and steel rods. And then I was also crafting steel scaffolding slabs and steel sheet metal as well for these supports and stuff. So I definitely didn't want to build the structure out without that. I mean, I had to craft steel sheet metal, or not steel, lead sheet metal over there in that building for the floor on the upstairs, and that was horrible enough. I didn't want to have to do this much of it. But I've got this set up so you can actually come up through here and just climb up. And you don't get electrocuted. You're safe climbing up through here. And once we get to the top, it's a little bit of a climb, to say the least. But up here, it's kind of like a little maintenance area. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So the windmill needs maintenance or whatever. So we can access it here. And then right here we have some, these are silver plates, or silver sheet metal. Bars that kind of keep the electricity there in the middle. And of course you can insulate that if you want to. There's not really, for me, for this build, there's not really a whole lot of point in insulating it. Generally, I don't know. I don't like insulating it personally because, I don't know. I've never been one on insulating the wires. I just don't. Plus, all my tough fabric right now is actually going to windmill cells because I need a lot of these. Like, I don't think you realize just how many that we actually need. But anyways, it's kind of like a little maintenance structure here at the top. And I kind of went with the idea that, you know, maybe it used to be something else. Like maybe it was some kind of like a laser cannon or, I don't know, something like that. And they put this windmill up here because, of course, this is kind of early level tech. So it's kind of rounded out there at the top and shaped up. Or, you know, like where a turret would set, let's say. I think it'd be more accurate, not a laser cannon, but kind of like where a autonomous turret would sit. So I don't know, but I actually quite like it. I like the shape of it. Like I said, I didn't really want to go with anything too elaborate as far as these go, because I'm gonna need a lot of these. I mean, it's a decent amount of steel and stuff that goes into it, but I'm going to need a lot of these structures because we're going to kind of have like a border that kind of runs along this canyon right here. So I didn't want anything that's going to take, you know, 2 days per build to set up or anything. So I kind of wanted something just a little bit more simple. Like I said, we are going to have a couple windmill structures a little bit more inland that are going to be a little bit more elaborate. But these ones, there's filtered coal right there. These ones aren't too elaborate. And then we'll have maybe 1 or 2 more on this side. And then over here we're going to have, you know, maybe 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and so on. And probably not all the way to the end because this island's decently long. But we will have quite a few of them, I think. So it's gonna very much be a work in progress. I mean, honestly, the treated wood really doesn't take that long to craft out like a stack, and a stack makes about almost 1.5 windmills. It's not terrible, but what's going to slow me down probably is getting all the industrial hemp and building out these, because I don't really have access to any kind of a builder, automated builder, I don't think, at the moment. So, I mean, they really don't take too long to build, especially if I don't have to keep moving the wires, because I was having to move the wires as I built it. RF Tools Builder, actually everything but the mana infused, we could actually get at the moment. Yeah, everything but the block of mana infused metal, I think we could actually pull off. Yeah, malachite, yeah. It's actually not that expensive. We are going to be getting into the miniaturization field projector here soon in this pack. I don't know if we'll get into it on here or on SevTech first. Probably on here, because probably next episode we're probably going to get the miniaturization up and going. I imagine. If not next episode, it will definitely be the episode after. So, anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point, so I am going to end out this episode here. Now, like I said, this episode is a world upload. So episode 15 is our first world upload. And I'll leave a link in the description for where that's going to be. And also, if you download the world, bear in mind that you will need to add Architecture Craft, and I'll include a link in the description for that. So, I hate having to say that because I feel like every pack should have Architecture Craft built in standard. Like, that's... Like, if I built a pack, that would be the first mod that I stick into a pack, honestly. Anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point. Next episode, we're going to continue on with our current projects. We are going to probably start getting into the forestry stuff, the centrifuges, the squeezers, probably get the moistener because there's a quest related to getting that. But I definitely want squeezers and centrifuges, and I want quite a few centrifuges. Probably 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I don't know, a bunch of them. We're going to start getting those set up. We're going to start maybe getting into the industrial apiaries because I need to get some more windmills set up, and then we'll route power into there and maybe start getting those set up, which is going to be nice because the industrial apiaries have the same base speed as an alveary does, so they're actually 10 times faster than our apiaries that we're currently using. So I don't know, a lot of the bees we're going to downsize to just one bee, like ash bees, chalk bees. You know, I'm not using those materials nearly as fast as when I'm getting them in. And then the metals we'll probably actually still double up on the metals. So we'll be running it 10 times the speed that we are right now, which is going to be nice. It's going to be really nice. And then the embers bees will probably drop down to just having maybe 2 sets of those instead of 4 sets, because we're not going to be using embers to melt down the metals in the new processing area. So we're going to be upgrading processing. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.